Hello lovelies, it's Chrissi here and I'm very excited to be this month's guest designer at Kitaholic Kits. Very excited, and when I got this kit I was in heaven because this kit is right up my alley. So if you don't know me, I used to be on the design team a while ago, and I'm very excited to be back this month. So I'm starting with a Project Life video. Now, this is my week 2. This is the first week I have done in this year's album. I am so far behind with my Project Life, it's not funny. But, you know, I persevere. I just like having all my photos not on my computer and actually somewhere else where I can, look at them. And I really do enjoy the process of scrapbooking and putting them, doing layouts and things. It's been a long time since I've done a Project Life layout. I got really stuck into 12x12 layouts. But I'm trying to get back into the swing of it, even though we're in March and almost April now. And this is still the first spread I've done. But I will persevere. So with my albums, I do 12x12 scrapbooking. And 12x12 Project Life. So my albums are a mix of both. So quite regularly, I will do a layout of a week, and then there'll be a picture that I love so much that I'll then do a 12x12 layout of it. And that just goes straight into my album in between that week as well. So that's generally how I tend to document our year. So week 2 this year started when we went on our cruise to Airlie Beach. So from the Monday to Friday, we were on board the Pacific Aria. It was a beautiful holiday we'd been planning for well over a year, and we were, lucky enough. The weather was beautiful. We had a great time. The in-laws came as well, so it was the 6 of us. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was before all this craziness kicked off, so we definitely got lucky. I have so many photos. I take a lot of photos, and I have so many that I have enough. I'm actually doing a separate album. So on board the Aria, they sold scrapbooking kits and a scrapbook album, and so I bought that, and I have I intend to make a separate album for this trip. But obviously, because a big part of our week was spent on the boat, I can't document this week without documenting some of the photos. So I just picked some of my favorites, and that's what I'm documenting in this spread. So this picture I'm working on now is me with my first of a few cocktails on board. And so I like to embellish my photos, I want to say heavily, but the way I do it is I tend to look for the empty space. So instead of cropping my photos so they take up all the area, not so much in these ones are pretty busy, but I think in the next page you'll see I tend to leave the open, the negative space. In this photo here especially, I could have cropped this to get rid of all of that empty space up there, but when I Project Life, I like to leave it open because it gives me somewhere to embellish. It gives me somewhere to put a cluster, and so that's what I'm doing here. I feel like this side isn't really embellished because, like I said, these pictures were pretty busy. But the one on the very left of our dog. So a friend of mine was puppy sitting for us, and because Will, who is my youngest boy, is so very attached to his dog, she sent text messages every time we had service. So when we got to Airlie Beach, we had service again, and she was sending messages from Sam to Will so he wouldn't miss him so much. So I had to document that. So this is the other side. Now you might notice that 2 of my 4x6 spaces only have 3x4 photos in them. I'm trying to get creative with my photo sizes. Now, I tend to take a lot of photos, so there is very rarely anything more than 1 gap for a journaling card. As you saw on the left-hand side, my title card had to be a 3x4 because I didn't want to cut down any more of the photos, so I used a 3x4 card. Only recently have I started doing this. I finally told myself that it's okay to do a 3x4 as a title card. It doesn't have to be a 4x6. So that's why I'm getting better with that. But yeah, as you can see, I've got 2 3x4 photos in 4x6 pockets. I'm trying to get creative, like I was saying, with my photo sizes, because I really like having all the extra space to journal and embellish. Now obviously, because I only have one space for a journaling or a filler card, I can't really do a lot. So having these extra spaces next to these 3x4 photos in a 4x6 pocket means I've got extra room to add some journaling and to get a bit more creative with my embellishing as well. So that's what I aimed to do in this one, and I'm trying to do it more often. The only problem is I have to be very aware when I print my photos of which pictures are going where and what sizes to make them, and sometimes I forget and just print my photos. But that is my goal for this year, to get a little bit more creative with my photo sizes and try and make some extra spaces where I can get pretty creative. So what I've done is I've matted this photo on a 4x6 card and added a 3x4 card under it to give me a journaling space. And now what I'm going to do with this picture up the top here is I'm going to make another 4x6 card. So this is one of the papers from the collection. This picture is a lovely picture of me a couple of days after we got home. I call this picture sea legs kicking my butt, but I use the A word instead. I don't have a problem on board with seasickness, but when we get home I get really bad sea legs and I get very wobbly, it's not fun, and this time was worse than usual. I think it was because our cruise was longer. The longest one we've been on, it was 5 days. But yeah, they kick my butt, man. I sway and feel lightheaded for days. So I really wanted to document that. This picture went up on my Instagram, and so I'm just using some of these puffy little alphas. I love these. They are fantastic. I've gotten a few in past kits, and they're just the perfect size for embellishing a photo or putting a mini title on an actual photo. So I'm just going to write sea legs, and then I'm going to document my little tale of woe of dealing with sea legs when we get home. So that's why I did want to have this picture in a bigger space where I could journal and get all creative and make my own little 4x6 card, because this picture by itself doesn't really convey much of a story, but I know the story behind it, and I really wanted to document that. So I really did want to have the space to do that. And honestly, I like making these little 4x6 cards with some journaling, and I just really like embellishing on my photos and getting creative in my project life. Otherwise, I get bored and it feels like they all start to look the same, and I start to use the same formula or recipe, and I get very bored with it. So I tend to try and find ways to be able to be creative and have some fun with it. So yeah, that's my goal, to continue Project Life and to try and get excited with it and mix it up a bit. So now I'm going to work on this picture down the bottom. You can only just see it. I've really got to work on my camera setup. But this is a picture of my niece and nephew in the bath. Now, my nephew is almost 11 months old and my niece is 2. And on Sundays, I go over and I do bath time because, well, it's fun. I'm the crazy aunt. This is a title I am very happy to hold. And, my niece, all my nephews and my niece, they all love it. But these two, they are the youngest, and yeah, it's fun. So I go over for bath time and just look at them. How cute are they? So we got back on Friday from our cruise, which was just in time for Sunday bath time. So I didn't miss a bath time. And yeah, this is just some pictures I took of these 2 little munchkins. Now, this is an example, and this picture of the boat as well. This is an example of where I really like to embellish on the photo. I like to make little clusters. Now, as you can see in the photo of my niece and nephew, there was a gap in the middle where I could put my little embellishment cluster. And then on the boat here, there's this little gap on the side. Now, I wanted to use, in the embellishment pack, there was this compass, but it was just too big. I didn't want to cover up too much of the boat. So there was this other little die cut that I cut down to be a bit smaller so I could make my own little cluster. And then I've used some of the exclusive printables with that Go See Do. And then I've just put a little journaling piece of the name of the boat. So when I do journal on my photos, my favorite way to journal is to cut up little strips of cardstock and journal on those and then attach them straight to my photos. Probably not the most acid-free memory keeping way possible. I know what I'm trying to say. But, you know, all my photos are digital. I have backups on my computer. This is more, you know, I don't care if they're not going to last 10, 20 years. I've got all backups on my computer. This is more for me the process and, you know, for as long as they last. My kids love looking at these albums and, you know, if they don't last forever, it's not a big deal. So granted, my glue and journaling and embellishing my photos heavily might not make them hold up forever, but still makes them look pretty for now. Anyway, so yeah, I like to embellish and journal straight on my photos. So like I was saying, I tend to cut up strips of cardstock, journal on those, and glue them straight to my photo. So this is my last little journaling spot, and I'm just going to make a little journaling card and just explain the story of the photo on the left of hubby with our dog of when he come back home, and that's it for my page. So yeah, I just filled in the last little one, used some puffy stickers, and yeah, just did some journaling. But yeah, that's it pretty much for this page. I hope you have enjoyed the video. It's been a while since I've done a Project Life video, so very excited to hear what you think. But there's a picture of the spread altogether. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.